Chapter 2, Mishnah 6. The Mishnah describes how all killers, both intentional and unintentional ones, are brought to trial, and how they are treated once their cases are decided. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda says, at first, that is, as soon as a killing occurs, the killer, whether intentional or unintentional, rushes to one of the Ari Miklat. The court then summons and brings the killer from there for trial. If he is sentenced to death by the court, that is, they determine that he killed deliberately, they execute him. If he is not sentenced to death, for example, the court determines that the killing was unexpected, they acquit him. If he is liable to exile, that is, the court determines that the killing was shogeg, they return him to his place, namely to the Ir Miklat that he came from, as it is stated in Numbers 35:25, and the congregation, i.e. the court, shall return the shogeg killer to his city of refuge, etc. When a shogeg killer is sent to an Ir Miklat, he must stay there until the Kohen Gadol dies. The Mishnah teaches that there is more than one type of Kohen Gadol about whom this law applies. If any Kohen Gadol dies, whether he was anointed with the anointing oil, or he assumed his position simply by increasing the number of his garments, that is, by wearing the extra garments worn by the Kohen Gadol, or even if he had once been a Kohen Gadol but stepped down from his position, his death allows the killer to return from exile. Another opinion, Rabbi Yehuda says, even the death of the Kohen, who is anointed for war, the Kohen appointed to speak to the Jewish army before they go to battle, allows the killer to return from exile. Since the killer goes free when the Kohen Gadol dies, the killer might pray for the Kohen Gadol to die. The following practice was therefore instituted. Therefore, the mothers of the Kohanim Gadolim would supply the exiled killers with food and clothing in order to appease them, so that they would not pray for their sons, i.e. the Kohanim Gadolim, to die. The Mishnah discusses the law if the Kohen Gadol died before the killer had a chance to go into exile. If the Kohen Gadol died after the killer was sentenced to be exiled, but before he actually went to the Ir Miklat, the killer does not go into exile. The death of the Kohen Gadol exempts him from exile. However, if the Kohen Gadol died after the killing, but before the killer was sentenced to exile, and they appointed another Kohen Gadol in his place, and then the killer was sentenced to exile, he returns from exile only when the second, newly appointed Kohen Gadol dies. He is not freed with the death of the first Kohen Gadol because he had not yet been sentenced when that Kohen Gadol died.